Recently, I learned something really interesting. There's a lake in California that's larger than Lake Tahoe that was created by complete accident. It's called the Salton Sea, and in this video, we're going to dive into the history and future of this fascinating but troubled lake. So how did this lake come to be? The Salton Sea is not a natural lake. It was created by an engineering accident that occurred between 1905 and 1907. Farmers in the Imperial Valley were using water from the Colorado River to irrigate their crops using a canal. In 1905, heavy rain and snow melt caused the canal to break from the increased water. For the next 2 years, water from the Colorado River flowed into the Salton Basin, which flooded it and caused the Salton Sea to form. Here's the Salton Sea in February of 1907, right around when the canal was fixed and the normal course of the Colorado River was restored. People at the time actually expected that the Salton Sea would dry up and disappear in a matter of years. There's no natural source of water entering the Salton Sea, so they thought that eventually the lake would just dry up through evaporation. But something unexpected happened. The neighboring farm fields were still being irrigated with water from the Colorado River. The runoff from these fields would flow down into the Salton Sea, and even though the water level fluctuated through the years, this agricultural runoff prevented the Salton Sea from being lost through evaporation. The modern Salton Sea has an area of around 375 square miles or 970 square kilometers. This makes it larger than Lake Tahoe or the San Francisco Bay. Its max depth is about 50 feet, with an average depth of around 30 feet. The Salton Sea has very salty water that's actually getting saltier as time goes on. The sea has no outlet other than evaporation, and as water is evaporated, the salt in the water is left behind. Agricultural runoff also contributes to the high salinity of the sea, as it contains fertilizers, pesticides, and salts. The Salton Sea has a salinity of about 4.4% salt, which is more than 20% higher than the average salinity in the ocean. The salt content in the Salton Sea has been increasing over the past decades, and it's expected to continue to increase in the future. Already, this increasing salinity has caused huge damage to fish populations, and this is likely to continue into the future. Another problem that the Salton Sea is facing is that in the last few decades, it's been losing water and shrinking. Irrigation water to the surrounding farm fields has been reduced. This means that the amount of runoff from these fields has also decreased, and evaporation has been causing the sea to shrink. It's been estimated that by 2030, the surface area of the sea could reduce by half, and by 2070, the sea could be a small brine pool. This shrinking causes damage to both the sea's ecosystem and human health. The Salton Sea is important to wildlife as a sanctuary for migrating birds and as a habitat for several types of fish. The shrinking of the Salton Sea has also caused risks to human health. As the sea shrinks, it exposes the sea bottom, from which dust and particulates, such as toxic metals, pesticides, and other contaminants, are blown by the wind, affecting the air quality of nearby towns. Some studies have shown that the bad air quality has actually caused the asthma rate in the area to be about 3 times higher than the average in the state. There are several possible solutions that have been brought up to save the Salton Sea from being evaporated completely. None of them are cheap or easy though. Here's some of the main proposals. One option is importing water from the Sea of Cortez. This would involve building a canal or pipeline to bring seawater from the Gulf of California to the Salton Sea. This would help maintain its water level and salinity. However, this would also require environmental and political agreements with Mexico, as well as overcoming engineering and financial challenges. A second option is transferring agricultural water to the Salton Sea. This would mean reducing the amount of water used by farmers in the Imperial Valley and diverting some of it to the Salton Sea, which would help replenish its water and reduce the salinity. However, this would be difficult because it would require compensating the farmers for their water rights and crop losses, as well as addressing the impacts on the Colorado River and its downstream users. A third option could be building wetlands and habitat projects. This idea would mean creating artificial wetlands and islands around the Salton Sea. which would help filter out some of the pollutants and provide a habitat for birds and fish. The final option involves extracting lithium from the Salton Sea. This would use new technologies to extract lithium from the brine in the Salton Sea. Lithium is a very valuable and high-demand metal that's used in batteries. With the increase of electric vehicles, this could be a really key time to do something like this. This option would generate revenue and jobs for the region, as well as reduce the salinity of the lake, but it would require developing and testing the technologies, as well as ensuring that environmental and social impacts are minimal. Ultimately, the best solution to save the Salton Sea could be a combination of all of these approaches that balance the needs of the environment, the economy, and people. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, check out the linked videos here. Don't forget to like and subscribe to make sure you catch my future videos. We'll be covering some really interesting topics coming up. See you next time.